Our topic for today is book writing lessons for law students. For today's webinar, we have Mr. Adhiraj Pal as a guest speaker. We welcome you, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Mr. Adhiraj Pal is a young law student who is pursuing BA LLB from UPES, Dehradun. He is deeply interested in the startup culture, problem-solving books, the tech industry, and future development. He is passionate about making the world a better place through sustainable development. Also, he has a great enthusiasm for investing in the markets. As a result of this enthusiasm, he has authored and published a book named Cryptomania, an essential guide to cryptocurrency. He is said to be one of the youngest people to author and publish a book on this topic. He is an ex athlete for football, swimming, tennis, and golf. Currently, he is a part time sports athlete as well. So his career goal is to run his own startup, which has a huge problem solving nature and wishes to improve the conditions of the world. Apart from all these, he has experience interning at the High Court of Delhi, Supreme Court, and District Courts. He has worked as a paralegal for a year in the Dehradun District Court. He is also associated with Specs NGO and has worked with various early stage startups. He has more than 3 years of investing experience in the market. Uh, Before we start, sir, can you please introduce the students to the type of work you do and how exactly was that planned?
Okay. Good evening to everyone. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. I am a final year law student and I am involved in the pet tech startup industry. And we are essentially coming out with a platform late in this year in the same genre. I invest in the markets as a side passion, which resulted in me writing a book on the industry, which was so niche. And I thought that the writing of my book would help the people around me and would solve a problem in spreading the knowledge of the sector. And the crypto space is a taboo, and essentially people don't try and spend anything on the knowledge. That's why I thought that maybe writing a guide would be a better option for everyone, just to gain some knowledge and join in the industry.
That is great, sir. So, what motivated you personally to write a book? What did you realize, like when and how did you realize that you wanted to be a writer, in fact?
So, since my childhood, I was very fascinated with reading a lot of books in the sectors which I personally like had the interest. I didn't read everything around me, but for example, I started reading about the markets when I was 16 years old. So I started with a book which is called which was written by Benjamin Graham. It is called The Intelligent Investor. So that psyched up my passion for investing, and I read almost everything I could get my hands on as a 16-year-old kid in school. So when I started my journey in the crypto space, there was not much of a factual sheet of knowledge, and there were opinions being floated everywhere. So when the lockdown happened and everybody came to know that the salaries won't help them in building wealth, and essentially they need to invest in some space so that their money works for themselves. So the boom in crypto space came lately in the previous year. So a lot of my friends were approaching me for my guidance in the same space, because they knew that I was involved in this space for a long period of time. So I thought, why not write a book in the same space, because I have a passion for reading. I read a lot of books, and there is no such book which is condensed in just one space, and which discusses about what money is, how the markets in crypto space work, what is blockchain, is can blockchain be used in a lot of space except cryptocurrency. In my book I have even mentioned about how you can start your own cryptocurrency. So the idea of solving a problem on such a great scale motivated me and excited me to write a book of my own.
That's great to hear. So, how long does it take to write a book?
So the question, this question depends on the type of book that you're writing. My book is a non-fiction sector. So if you have a story to tell, that'll come under fiction, and there are two types of story. One that satisfies you, or the second story is one you want to relate to someone and then give a social message with it in the fiction genre. So that can take as many years as it can, because the development of idea is different for every single one. For me, it just took 3 to 4 months for me to write the book, because I had the knowledge and I just had to figure out how to like condense it and chapterize it properly, so that the reader gets the easier access to the knowledge and is interested from start to the end. Yeah.
Okay. So, just a follow-up question. So, you're still a student. How is your work schedule managed when you're writing, and how do you manage your time? Is basically my question.
So except writing and except being a law student, I do a lot of things. I am an esports athlete as well. I have been involved in the esports industry also in the past years. Esports is a really growing space in our country, and it's booming like crazy. Same as with the crypto space. So these two things excite me, and I always take out time every day just for a couple of hours or just for a couple of minutes. I ensure that after I'm done with my classes or I'm done with the theory work, I essentially take out time to study more about this industry, because I love thinking about the future prospect. Because if you can think that something will be different in the future, or 10 years down the line, this will be the scenario, so it'll be a better place to live in the same world. Because 10 years down the line, the world will be in a completely different fashion. In the previous decade, we've seen social media grow and boom. Like people are making career out of social media, and they are essentially just full-time social media influencers. So that came only because of development. So somebody has to do the dirty work and research about it. So after I get done with my classes, I just go to sleep with this idea that I have to learn at least one new thing about this space, so that I can help myself and the people around me.
That's a great tip. I think that we must learn something new every day. So, can you describe or tell a little about your book to our audience here?
So my book is titled Cryptomania: An Essential Guide to Cryptocurrency. The book is nothing but a guide which every beginner needs to learn everything you need to know about this space. So my book is seasoned in such a fashion that I have begun with explaining a little concept of money, that how money works and how the US dollar is such powerful. Because it's in the lame language, just a couple of people in the countries decided that US dollar would be the most powerful currency in the world, and every currency is measured with keeping at par the US dollar. So essentially the concept of decentralization came in once Satoshi Nakamoto came out with the technology of Bitcoin and blockchain. So I have mentioned about who this mystery man Satoshi Nakamoto was, because nobody knows who he was, or was it a group of people, was it a single identity. So after that, I've mentioned about some decent cryptos which I think have a good fundamental value. I've then mentioned about how you can go about and create your own cryptocurrency, and how you can enter this space and start your own startup, and you can actually profit from it, and you can solve problem in the real world, because the world is moving towards decentralized finance. And if you just study on Google or whatever site you want to, that how banks work and how inflation is destroying your money, you will start looking for things which you want to invest in, and which works your money up over the couple of years, because your money is just getting destroyed in banks. So I have just tried to condense little parts of everything in one book, so that a reader gets to gain a little knowledge about every sector, with compiling with the crypto sector.
I think that would be a very insightful read. So, all of us have heard about a blanket ban on cryptocurrency
Of course.
at some time at some point in our lives. So, what is your take on this issue?
Previously, cryptocurrencies have been banned in India, and the ban was lifted by the Honorable Supreme Court of India. I don't think so. There might be a ban on like just outrightly banning a technology which will boom our economy because see, students want to go abroad and study. Like I understand that the shift, the paradigm shift of the culture that they want to go there and explore the new places there. But if you just talk to people who are starting up in US or in Canada or in UK, they want to enter India. India is such a big market. We have 130 crore people here. It is such a big market. Every startup wants to get a taste of India and China. So this is a technology which will generate trillions in economy. Trillions. I'm telling this is not even about billions. This will generate trillions in economy. So I don't think they will outrightly ban a technology because you have to at some point switch to digital currencies. I'll just take an example of China. There was a documentary in back in the year 2019 which showed that China doesn't use cash at all. They don't use cash. They don't carry wallets. They don't use their credit cards. Don't use their debit cards. They just carry their cell phone, and everything is done by Alipay or WeChat Pay. They don't use any form of fiat currency. Like it's so marvelous that even vendors like who are selling groceries and at the places like butcheries, everybody is using a digital medium to share to transfer money. So you have to adapt with time. There is no such thing as a genius in this world. You just have to change and adapt with time, otherwise you'll be left behind. And in order for us to become the world's number one economy, we have to change with the changing time. So outrightly banning a technology which will help the human race in such a great fashion will really like it's like digging your own grave. So I don't think there might be an outright ban, but it needs regulation because the crypto space is essentially working on a medium of hype. Like all the rates which you see every day, the fluctuations, the meme coins, the doggy coin, the Doge coins, everything you see, everything is working on hype right now. The industry will not be the same after 5 years. There has to be some regulation because people will start losing money because most of the people don't research on their investments. They just listen to other people, see the trend, and just hop on the bandwagon. So it will destroy the middle class and the lower middle class who just get excited to make money. So there has to be a regulation which our country has to come out, and the government of our country is smart enough. There is a generation gap between us and the previous generation because we are so technologically advanced that the generation which was born after 2000 have not seen a life without internet. So we need to regulate it, but outrightly banning a technology is like calling up for doomsday.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
So, what is your opinion on India's outlook towards cryptocurrency? Well, you have already answered it in part, but if you could elaborate it a little more.
Sure. So the thing is that uh, somebody starts a technology. Okay, somebody starts an innovation. I'll just take an example. Somebody starts an innovation. Okay, people who don't get it or who don't want to research it, they just criticize it that it's just a fad and it'll go away with time. It's not solving any problem. It's just pure luck. So with time, I think there was a ban, and the ban was lifted for a reason because they saw some potential in it. I'm not saying that they're in favor of it because this will destroy the government. Okay, how Bitcoin works, like how the idea behind the development of the Bitcoin was to destroy the governments in the statement, the origination of the statement being that you are in control of the power of the thing which you are investing, and nobody can regulate it. The people who are using it, they can regulate it in the means of the blockchain. So the government is still researching it. Nobody knows how the crypto space is going to be after 10 years, but this will not be the criteria. I am pretty sure. But if the government is coming out with a lot of startup schemes, and they're giving a lot of tax concessions, which is really great because a country where only 1% of the population pays tax, it is a really great incentive for the younger generation to come out with startups in the crypto space. But I think that government should be more vocal about it and should support the younger generation because we are primarily a very young country. The average age of our country is 26. So the younger generation is very interested in new things. They don't want, we as a generation, as millennials or Gen Z, we really get bored very quickly. And if you just study how a human brain works in getting bored, we are insanely good at pattern detections. We detect patterns so fast as a generation. We detect patterns so fast and we get bored so easily that everything to us is predictable. That if you go and watch a Govinda movie, it's so predictable. You watch a Salman Khan movie, it's predictable. The greatest business of Avengers in the world was done in India because people were able to relate it. Game of Thrones, people were able to relate it because nobody knew what the outcome would have been. So as a generation, we are very inclined towards new things, new innovations, like being the first at something. The thing is that everybody wants to create Facebook. Everybody wants to be the creator of something like a Facebook. You have to explore every space and read about every nook and cranny, and you can just learn that there can be innovation in every single sector, so just the government has to just be vocal about the concept of cryptocurrency and how they are planning to regulate it, because this is causing a lot of shift in the market. For example, the crypto market works 24/7. I'm sure pretty everybody must be knowing about this. The crypto space works 24/7, 7 days a week. There is no stopping. So you might sleep seeing one price and you might wake up seeing another price. So such rise and volatility might am I audible? Hello?
Am I audible now?
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're perfectly audible. I think there was some issue with my internet, so
All right.
I got logged off. So, my next question to you is that what motivated you to write a book on an entirely different topic, such as cryptocurrency?
So I have been a curious child since my childhood, and therefore I developed a negative trait with this curiosity, that was being anxious at that time. So I could I when I started researching about crypto, there were not a lot of things which I read which helped me develop my brain in this sector. So I thought, with all the experience that I have in the market, and whatever experience I have in the reading of every articles and all the books that I've read on blockchain, I thought that it would be a really nice idea to condense everything on one single platform and target a niche market, so that people know what they are getting into. Like, just people are just gambling, outrightly gambling, and just losing out on money. So I wanted people to guide whatever little knowledge I have. I just wanted to guide people that how you should exactly approach the market, and you should know what you're getting into.
Great. So, cryptocurrency is currently the most burning and debatable topic. Any myth that you'd just like to bust for the audience here today?
Any myth? See, there are a lot of myths, because crypto got famous because of mouth to mouth publicity. So there are a lot of myths around the sector. One myth which I can which is under one huge umbrella, is that cryptocurrency is a fad and it's a bubble. So that is false. If you it is very simple. You just go to Binance or go to any crypto platform. Just look at 5 6 coins. Okay, then go to Coin Market Cap. Okay, then you read about the top 5 top 6 coins and just Google about it, read their white paper. Okay, once you read the white paper, once you read what technology they're working on, you will come to realize that it's not a fad. The technology some of the cryptocurrencies are working on is really great, and it will solve a lot of problems in the future. Something called the NFT, which is the non fungible token, is gaining a lot of popularity these days. So it came out in the year 2018, I guess. So the culture started in US, but it is gradually getting a lot of fame in India, and it is getting a lot of attention of artists. So now, if you see a movie, you go to a sector like sorry you go to a theater, like you book a show on PVR, and you just go and binge on the movie and eat some popcorn and come back home. That was the idea of essentially watching a movie. But the OTT platform disrupt everything. If Salman Khan got 10 screens in one sector, and Rajkumar Rao got 2 screens in sector, now on OTT platform they're balanced. If a viewer wants to watch Rajkumar, he will watch Rajkumar. There is no Salman Khan ka listing beyond him that nee, you have to watch Salman Khan. The equality which OTT platform has got has motivated people to watch other movies and other series like Family Man, discovering heroes like Manoj Bajpayee. So what crypto space is doing, it is creating equality in the sector, like in the sector as decentralized finance. Same is the case with NFT. So NFT, so after 10 years, movies might be sold in NFT, not 10 years essentially, but I'm saying as a culture in the next 10 years, it will be very common that books are being sold on NFTs, and art is currently being sold on NFT. A lot of artists like The Weeknd, Halsey, they've come out with musics on NFTs. So the space is really great, and people are believing that it's a fad. I can guarantee you one thing: the working that we're seeing day to day in the crypto and NFT space, this will not be the same after 5 years. But the industry is here to stay, and it's not a bubble. That I'm pretty sure.
Th- All right.
Yeah,
Can you just explain the basics of NFT for our audience here
yeah,
today
sure,
who
sure.
are just
So
new
okay,
to?
so NFT basically stands for a non-fungible token. If I will go to the technicality, a lot of you might not be able to relate it. So I'll just give you an example. If I am an artist, okay, I'm not famous, I don't have enough money to hold an exhibition and host an exhibition and have my own auction of the paintings. So I will create an NFT that is a digital painting. Okay, so I draw a sketch of Messi. So I draw a sketch of Messi, that is my art. So I will digitalize it and I'll go to a platform. For example, I'll go to a platform of Binance. So I'll go to the platform, I'll buy some Ethereum, I'll list my art that I want to sell this at X amount of rupees. Okay, so this will give me a platform to showcase my art among the people who are artists, like the best artists in the world. The same painting which is being sold for a crore might have the next painting being sold for 100 rupees. So it is like a OTT platform for the digital artist. This will create equality, this will help the digital art being motivated. And second problem which the NFTs are solving, see, there is a big reason that billionaires and millionaires buy art, and that is to save tax. Some of them have great interest or taste for art, but essentially majority of them buy art just to save tax. So where do you keep it? So if this wall is 10 feet, you can only hang X amount of paintings, right? You need extra space to keep that. But NFT the concept is you can store it anywhere. You are the absolute owner. You'll have a barcode which will speak out that you are the exclusive owner of that NFT, and you can keep it in your laptop. You can keep it in your phone. You can keep it on your smartwatch. You can just circulate it anywhere, but the absolute ownership rights will remain with you. So this is an example of NFT, but this is coming in the gaming sector. There's a project called the Engine Project, which is coming out with an NFT platform for gaming. A lot of artists in US have released their music on NFT platform. Might as well, there might be a book which will be released on an NFT platform. So it is just digitalizing the entire space in the form of art and recreation. So as humans, we really like to collect things. You might have heard your grandparents or people collecting stamps during that era. So the Pokemon cards are really popular during this time. People have started fascinating about sneaker culture a lot, and if you just study about the appreciation in the rate of a sneaker, in amounts of reselling. For example, if I buy a sneaker for 10,000, if the demand is high, I can sell it for 1 lakh as well. So that is a crazy amount of appreciation that your property or stocks can't even give, just because of the fascination of collection. So as humans, we really like to collect things. So NFT will give you a digital space and launch your own collectible in any space. That can be digital, that can be art, that can be music, that can be movie, that can be anything. I think there is a platform called NFT Niti. They are the first Indian platform to launch a movie on NFT. I think it's called NFT Niti. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, can you also explain the entire process of how exactly a book gets published?
Okay, so I can tell you how I got my book published. When I was about to conclude my book, I approached a publisher which is called the Notion Press. So they're based in Chennai. So I just went to their website. I just booked an appointment. They gave me a call. They got to know my idea. and they motivated me to get it published as soon as possible, because the industry was booming at that time and they thought that I could sell a lot of copies. Then they gave me a personal manager, so that so the manager discusses the design of your book. So you have to first decide the interiors of your book, that what kind of page quality do you want, or what should be the uh, what should be the exact look of a page that should come on every paper, and what should be just to get on the experience that a reader has. So what color exactly should be a page of, and what should be written, how bold you want the letters to be, and what should be the design of the exterior, that do you want it to be a millennial generation or something of a subtle nature. So they just help you design the books on the exterior and as well as the interior. You can give your inputs that I want to design, suppose I want a red color cover, I want something like this. They'll help you figure out some things, so that you can get a good copyright as well. But if you want them to suggest you have to pay a little extra. So you can tell them that, see, I don't know what cover I want, I just want it to look cool and relatable for the new generation. So they'll be like, okay, give me 1 or 2 days, I'll help you out. So they'll give you some themes. You can just then innovate on the themes, that this is the theme, and you can innovate your own ideas. So once you've decided your design, there will be one last proofreading for the editing purpose, for the editing of your book, and after that the book cannot be edited. So you can just proofread and just do a grammar check on your book, and once that is done, the book goes to the printing process, and within 15 to 30 days your book is out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what was one of the most surprising things that you learned while you were writing your book or getting it published?
See, I used to read a lot since I was a kid, so nothing was surprising because I knew how a book gets published. The only thing that was surprising for me was the price prospect, that how much royalty Amazon takes and how much royalty Flipkart takes, even after spending so much money. So that was the only surprising thing, that the royalty cut was huge for these platforms. They give you a reach, they give you a good reach, but I understand all that. But just a price point of view for a common man, I think that if you want such a big reach, there should be some better alternatives for a price perspective.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Somebody is asking me that what was the publisher's name that you mentioned,
So it's
or
Notion Press.
Notion Press.
Yeah,
All
should
right.
I write
And
it on chat?
yeah, you can. And they're also asking me if you could suggest some good publishers. For
If you can get a contact in the Penguin is great. Like, I know it's a tad bit expensive, but Penguin is great. It will boost your writing career like crazy. And secondly, Rupa Publishers in Delhi. I was in the middle of writing a book on sustainable development and the Paris Agreement, but I had to put a halt on that because I'm working on something, on a project. So if you can get Rupa Publishers or the Penguin, if any one of you can just get a contact in that space and drop a mail in the same sector, they are great. They can help you boost your writing career like crazy. Chetan Bhagat made a career out of Rupa Publishers. Let me tell you, his books are very average. He got a crazy publisher who has a great marketing strategy, and see, you can see him making a career out of it. So Penguin and Rupa, according to me. Notion is also good. Notion Press is good, but they charge a lot on marketing. So I was smart enough to not spend money on the marketing sector, because I thought that I have those skills that I can market my own book. So uh, I learn a lot of stuff from Reddit and YouTube as well. So I used to super chat my favorite tech YouTubers and knowledge YouTubers, just to put out my book in the sector, and just put 500 rupees so that my chat gets highlighted. And I had some friends in the sector of MTV and all those social media influencers, and so I managed to market my book at zero cost expense. And also my parents have a good connect in their own group, so I was able to market the book on the word of mouth. but Notion Press charges a very hefty amount, which a lot of people cannot would not be able to afford or would not be willing to pay as well. I was not willing to pay such a big amount for just marketing my book, because the break even of your book, like, see, writing a book might not be an investment at first time authors will not earn profits, that is for sure. It'll take 2 or 3 books for you to earn profits out of your book. But thinking about spending, for example 1 lakh rupees and just getting 10,000 out of it is, so 90,000 ka loss you're making on a book, so it's an investment only. So just be a bit smart and calculative. But if you can get Penguin and Rupa and you have to pay a tad bit more, I think that is worth it.
I think you have partly answered it, but there is a question in the chat box which
Sure.
says, what is the payment process?
Okay, so they highlight. So you go to any website, they will highlight a package. Okay, for example, I won't disclose the amount I paid because that would hurt the company sentiments. For example, you had to pay 40,000 for publishing a book. Okay, let's just say it is around this only, this price point only, 40,000 rupees. You have to give a publishing cost. Royalty will be essentially 50%. 50% Amazon will take, and 20 to 30% the publishers will take. So you will only mota get 30 to 40% on an average book. 30 to 40% the profit you will make, not or immense amount of profit. But say if you pay 40,000 rupees for publishing your book, you can tell them that you're a student or you don't want to shell out the money at one point of time. So they can suggest you on good EMIs that you can pay. Okay, you can pay in 3 installments. But what they do is, in the 3 installments they'll tank you a price which is higher than the normal listed price. So you can always bargain. You should bargain. Indians are really good at bargaining. Same was the case with me. I ended up getting a decent deal, I would say, not a great deal, because it was still expensive for me without marketing. So just go to the website, get a price in your mind so that you have a decent price to bargain. You can't luteify them because they are also smart. They publish hundreds of books every day. But if you tell them that you're a student, or for example you don't want to shell out this amount of money and you're first time publishing your book, and you just want to see how people will react to your writing, you can always land up a decent deal. Just think about how will you sell your product. That is the true art. Every product, everything. See, writing a book is developing your own personal brand. This is your own personal brand. If I have written a book on cryptocurrency, it is Adhiraj Pal's brand. I am the brand behind that book. But how do you sell that brand? How do you convince people to buy that? Because India is very price centric. Yeah, secondly, just price your book according to the psychology of our country. I have listed my book at 150 rupees. The publishers told me to rank a price higher than that because the amount of information I have mentioned is very valuable. But I was very clear in my head that 150 रुपए खर्चने के लिए every Indian would be ready. Just to get on some knowledge, 150 rupees would be convenient to every Indian. So you have to see that our country is very, 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 very price sensitive. If you just rank a book from 150 to 199, they won't buy. Trust me, they won't. Even for 5 rupees less, if they see there's a better deal there, they won't buy, which is smart enough. But you are at loss if you have to sell your product. So just keep it in mind that you go to the website, get an idea of the price, bargain a good deal, and just know how do you market it. You have to spend something on marketing, which is very good. It will help you build your brand, which will help you profit in the later years. So just think about marketing, get a good deal, try to bargain, and talk to multiple platforms. Don't just stick to one. You have to benefit yourself. You're doing it for yourself, your own development, and building your own brand. So just bargain and have a good price point for the Indian market. And global market there is a different scenario, but essentially targeting the Indian market, be very sensible when you're pricing a book.
Indeed, that is quite insightful. So, I have another question in the chat box which says that, is there any requirement of the minimum number of pages that one needs for, getting your book published?
Uh, See, I don't think there is a minimum requirement of any book, because that depends. If you're writing a poetry, or if you're writing a sonnet or a ballad, it might be different for that genre. And if you're writing a non-fiction book, that might be different. If you're writing a fiction book, but there is no essential requirement for a minimum number of pages. But I would advise you that if you're planning to sell a book and like not doing charity, it should at least be more than 50 pages, including everything. It should be more than 50 pages, otherwise people would not buy it. Why would anyone buy a 20-30 page book and spend money and go to Amazon and order and wait for 10 days and be excited for your book and then post stories about it on social media?
So one more question is there. It says, how far in the writing process were you in before approaching publishers?
uh, I was almost done with my book. I was not able to find a perfect conclusion because my book is non-fiction. See, my in the non-fiction category, you have to state some great facts. Like you have to, it should not be your opinion. It should be facts. Like for example, Ratan Tata is a philanthropist, so he is a philanthropist. That is not my opinion. Azim Premji is a philanthropist. That is not my opinion. He gives out billions of dollars in charity. That is a fact. So in the non-fiction category, you have to lay down some facts. In my conclusion, I had to give my opinion, coupled with some facts, coupled with some trends which were going on those days. So I was not sure about my conclusion, even though it was very brief and short, but I wanted to keep it crisp. So before completing my conclusion, I approached the publishers and booked an appointment just to talk to them that how, because I was new to the publishing sector, I didn't take anybody's help. I went on the process by my own self. So I didn't write the conclusion, but 80 to 90% of my book was done. But I proofread my book at least 2-3 times after that. Like I made 2-3 changes after the designing also. So just complete 70 to 80% of your book so that they also know that okay, you're in the like you're about to complete your book. So they'll also keep it in mind. Acha, we'll get you more designs, or even we have time as publishers just to like we can wait on the time to give you better designs. So just complete 70 to 80% of your book, then approach the publishers and just proofread before the publishing your book. Otherwise, you will regret once the book is out that Arey, I would have written this thing better, and agar ye likh deta, to it would have been better.
So, like any tips that you'd like to give as to pitching the publishers?
Pitching the publishers. See, what I told my publishers, I can tell you that. So there was a guy. His name was Anish. So Anish was a great guy. He was my manager. So I told Anish to help me connect to the manager. They have a GM above them. So I talked to the GM. I told them that, see, I'm a student. I work. I do part time also. I pay for my family also. And in the COVID time, my stipend is very low. I can't even pay for my petrol, and I have a lot of difficulties going around, and all this thing which we are great at doing, cooking up stories. But she was very considerate about it, and she gave me a little bit discount that was only of 5 to 10%. But that worked wonders for me in the sense that even if I'm able to save 100 rupees on my bargain, it is a fair thing. Those $100 I'll be able to invest it somewhere, right? So just uh, be able to connect on an emotional level. Tell them, don't lie to them that my mother is ill and my father is jobless. Don't go about doing all this. That is wrong. I just told them that I'm financially tight, and I just garnished it with some seasoning. And I told them that I'm really tight. I'm a first time publisher, and I don't know how people will react. I don't expect to profit from this book. I'm just writing it because the industry needs this type of book. So please help me. I want to do it. It was always my dream to get a book published of my own. My family is not supporting me financially. I don't want their help. I want to do it on my own. I'm a young lad, and just help me out. I'll publish. I'll get my next book published from you. Yeah, all this, and they'll relate to you at some point.
That's I think a very helpful tip. Uh, cryptocurrency stage in India, is there a positive outlook anytime soon? I think this question has already been answered. Uh, so if you had to do something differently as a child or a teenager, so or to become a better writer as an adult, what would you have done?
uh, if I would say that I would do something differently just to change my mindset that is now, I would be lying, because if I wouldn't have done all that, my mindset wouldn't have been the same. I would have been a different person if I would have done things differently. I'm not saying that I'm a great person and I'm very intelligent. I am saying I could have become worse or have been more intelligent. So I am enjoying where I am right now. So I wouldn't recommend myself to change anything. But on the point of view of writing, I can recommend one great thing to you guys. If you're writing a book, let's say, just a second. See, this was my guru for the markets. This is a book which was written in 1987, or maybe older than that. It's more than it is 100 years plus of existence. This book has. So it has a very different style of writing, but it is very difficult to understand this book for youngsters. So I took a lot of time to understand this. But the investing books with the changing times has changed. Like, you see in the non-fiction category, there will be three books which will be talking about the same thing. The delivery, the punchlines, and the factual representation of every author putting out on the table and serving to the readers will be very different. So what you can do is, if you're writing a book on investing, let's say, or if you're writing a book on psychology, so you should read books which have been there before you and are doing wonders. So you have to get into the author's psychology. For example, there is a book called Behave that is really good for psychology point of view. There is a book called Sapiens. I think it's of Yuval Noah Harari. These two, if you're writing on psychology, you should read these books. You should adapt. You should get into the author's brain. Like, what was he thinking at writing, at the writing of this stage? Like, for example, how did he decide on chapter second he has to mention about human psychology? How did on chapter 3 he decide he had to mention about neuroscience? So it's reading a book is a journey. It is a reader's journey. He'll if you like give heavy information on the first page, he'll be, Arey, I don't get it, what is this, I don't want to read this, I'm not enjoying this, and he'll go to YouTube and watch a video. So he won't read your book. You have to give a starter. Sorry, you have to serve water first. You have to give a starter. Then when he tastes the starter, you have to give out salad. When he tastes the salad, you have to ask him about the main course. Then you have to show what you all have to offer. Then you can give him a taste of your own dish, which he might be hesitant to eat, because readers want to read in the categories they are interested in. Everybody won't read a book on cryptocurrency. It's a very niche market. Everybody won't read a book on Romeo Juliet. So you have to be very clever with that. You have to be clever in clubbing that this is what you want to deliver. This is the reader's curiosity. You have to mix it in such a fashion that the reader's appetite also gets satisfied, and your motive of giving him a message, or the society a message, should also be satisfied with that.
Okay. So I think that Miss Vismita's question has also been answered, but if you could also touch upon the
For sure.
effect of Elon Musk's tweets on the market, that would be great.
See, I have a very personal story regarding Elon Musk. I uh, I started reading about the guy when I was in my 11th standard, or primarily in my 12th standard, when he started investing in Tesla and he took over the company. I'm not able to remember the year, so I was very fascinated with the guy, and I was like, all the like, I wanted to be like him and I wanted to think like him. I was very fascinated. But over the years, I have been seeing him. I've been reading about him and seeing him. So the thing is, what I have, a mistake which I have made, and nobody should do it, and everybody does it. Don't idolize any personality. Never idolize any personality. Never ever idolize anyone, not even your parents. Because I'm not talking about India, I'm talking about human psychology. सी आई गिव यू एन इंडियन एग्जाम्पल. हम लोग ऐसे लोग हैं जो भगवान भी बनाते हैं और उनका विसर्जन भी करते हैं. Are you getting it? We put everyone on a pedestal and then we tell them to leave also. Okay, so just idealize the mindset. For example, Elon Musk is a great engineer. He's not a great businessman. He's a good marketer and he's a great engineer. He has vision for future. Just idealize the fact that he is a beautiful mind of it. He's a great engineer. Just idealize the fact that he's doing wonders in the space of tech industry. Don't let him capture your brains that he's saying Dogecoin is begar, so you are saying Dogecoin is begar. Think it for yourself. The To answer the question directly, that how Elon's tweet is affecting the market, it is affecting the market. I would agree with that, because a lot of people idolize him and think that he's genius, and he is a genius. I'm pretty sure he's a genius, but everybody is a genius. You just have to find which industry are you in genius. So for example, if you tell Elon Musk to read out a Bear Act, say if you tell him to read a Contract Act, he won't be able to tell the minor points, and he won't be able to explain those points. So is he not a genius? He still is a genius. You have to find a sector for yourself that you might be a genius in. For example, you're a lawyer, you have to know everything about law. You can't memorize all the Bear Acts and just give it out in front of the judge, and the judge will appreciate, wow beta kya baat hai. It's not like that. You have to be a good articulator. You have to explain things. So just idealize a mindset. Don't follow anyone, because it will ruin your life. If that person does something wrong, you will feel that you are dumb, because you thought he is nice and he is not nice, so you have a judgment error. Never follow anyone. If he says cryptocurrency space is bad, so recently he tweeted about Bitcoin being that Bitcoin has a lot of energy consumption, and it is consuming a lot of electricity. What is the point? Is his so he's building cars which works on electricity. So that is also wrong. Everybody should start cycling now. Then why are we building cars on electric platform? If something is solving problem, it is the cryptocurrency space is solving a huge inflation problem. Okay, all the currencies in the crypto space are not currencies. We have to call them crypto assets. All of them would not be used as a form of currency when we'll come to the adoption stage. But these are crypto assets. So something which is solving such a great problem, it should not be compared to one personality, because idealizing a person will lead to losses only because he is thinking something else. He invested in Bitcoin, he sold the Bitcoin and he gained 100 million out of it. So he was a smart guy to do it. Even though he shows that he doesn't need money, it was a smart move. So don't follow one particular person. Don't follow any person. Listen to yourself. Trust me, you're intelligent. You just have to learn from people's mindset. You will learn one good thing from every human being you meet. Be that a sweeper, be that a teacher. You learn one good thing from every human being you meet. Just idealize the mindset that is driving Elon Musk, that he thinks everything is possible. He read a book, he talked to some smart people, he built a rocket which is going to space. So that's a great mindset. But is he a good investor? He thinks Warren Buffett is not a nice person as a because he thinks investing is not nice. So why do you want to follow such a person who's giving opinions on everything? He and everybody is wanting to relate to him ki nahi, nahi, Elon is saying Warren Buffett is bad, so Warren Buffett is bad. The guy worked so hard. He was 11 years when he started investing. Don't follow anyone. That is my only advice to you, because you end up losing money. You have your brains, just work through your brains, think it yourself. Do you think is it worth it? That the only reason of me writing a book was to make people realize that the importance of research is so important, that like you should know where your money is going. You have to research, you have to study about things, and you have to know where you are putting money, because it will help you in making money, and also learn about different sectors with time, because you have to think about mental growth as well.
Indeed, I think these are very valuable tips
Yeah.
that all of us should incorporate or imbibe in our thinking and mindset.
Of course.
So if there are any books or peer reviewed articles that you'd like to suggest to someone who has just started writing, that would be great. I have honestly a lot of questions right now in the chat
Okay.
box. So I'm not sure if we'll be able to answer all of them.
Right.
But if you could just answer this one and then proceed.
The answer to this is very brief. There is no one book you can refer or one article you can refer to write, which will help you in writing of a book. I did not refer to any article, so I would not suggest you to search on anything. Writing a book is very simple. Just find a foundation. For example, if you want to write a love story, okay, just go to sleep, just lie down on your bed, imagine those characters. Okay, imagine those characters meeting, the premises, the emotional turmoil they are facing, how they meet. Just imagine it. Okay, just write it down on a piece of paper. That first I'll introduce the characters, second I'll tell what the character does, third I'll make a place where the character meets, fourth I'll show the evolution of love, fifth I'll show an emotional baggage which comes with love, because without pain there is no love, and stuff like that, according to philosophy. So just it is very simple to write a book. Just find a foundation. For example, it's not non-fiction or fiction. Just find a foundation that this is my idea. I want to write a book on investing, I want to write a book on love, I want to write a book on psychology. Just find a foundation, write a chapterization. From time to time, correct that chapterization. When you start writing a book, you don't have to write a book from A to Z. You can make errors, you can go back, you can read, you can start again, crisscross, and then edit again. There is no defined way to write a book. Trust me, if someone is selling you a course, or someone is selling you a book that I'll tell you how to write every book, he's wrong. Every book is an art. Every artist has a different way of performing an art. Every cook, every chef has a different taste in his hand. Every reader has a different appetite. So you have to understand that what satisfies you and what delivers the appetite of the reader. Just do chapterization, find a foundation, read it multiple times, discuss it with your friends, your partner, your parents. Just discuss it. Just discuss the idea with them. Do chapterization and just start writing. Trust me, don't have this FOMO and do this procrastination that I'll do it from next year, next month. Just start writing. Write the shittiest thing you can write, and just go about correcting it, and you will end up with a masterpiece, that I can guarantee you.
Uh, that's a great tip as well. I think there's one more question
Sure,
which
sure.
relates to self-publishing
Yeah.
and normal publishing. So I think the question is basically as to any difference, if there is,
Yeah,
between self-publishing and
yeah, I got the question. So the thing is that the see, for example, Notion Press, the platform which I got my book published from, they also give you two options of normal publishing process, and sorry, that is not a normal publishing process. I would like to correct you. That is guided publishing process, and the other one is self-publishing process. So self-publishing may you can give, you'll save some money. You will give the design, you will tell them what exactly you want from them. They'll just compile it, and just give it to the guys who will print it, and once it is out on all the platforms, they'll send you a link. Okay, the work is done, please transfer the money. Whereas in the guided publishing, I took the help of a guided publishing personally, because I wanted to be good on the design part of it, because I wanted people to relate psychologically. So I don't have my book here, but the front face of my book shows a man who doesn't have a face. So I wanted people to be excited to read about Satoshi Nakamoto, that who the guy was, and who's the mystery man behind Bitcoin, because it tends to spark a suspense or a thriller part of your brain. So do what suits you. If you have everything in mind and you have everything sorted out, it's great, works for you, why not, go ahead. But if you think you need some guidance with the design, you need someone to suggest you need someone to tell you or suggest you better things, go with the guided publishing.
indeed, there is one more question with respect to management of information and furnishing it in the form of a book. I think you've already answered that. Uh, the next question is that if you could give any advice as to writing styles and how to be consistent in writing.
Okay, that's a great question actually. So uh, everybody is different. In everything you do, you pick up a glass and drink water differently than the other person, than your own parents. You are genetically imbibed with them, but you are different as an individual and as an entity. You don't need motivation to write a book. Trust me, don't write a book if you need motivation in that. Just decide that I'll write one piece of paper every day. If you're speaking about consistency, just think I'll write 10 lines. I'll just focus on developing. Okay, so there's a character like Adhiraj. So just imagine how you would want to portray that character to the world. Okay. Just write whatever you want to write about that character on a piece of paper. Let that character go to 100 pages. Don't put a cap on it. Like एक ही page का character I'll write or 10 lines I'll write. Don't cap on it. Just let the character flow naturally, flow as much as you want. Please feel free to experiment. There is no hard and fast rule. Just let the character flow. Okay, so if I say you write 100 lines on development of a character, that's great. Your brain works wonders if you're doing that also. Some people will demotivate you ki, are you're taking 100 lines to describe one character. That's not the case. Everybody has a different way of expressing their art. So in the character development, just tell about the character. And just this is for fiction. Okay, just related yourself to your story. I can't tell you each sector's ka story. So if you're developing a character, just think the how the character works in your own brain. Imagine him doing things, random things, behavior, so that the audience can be able to relate it. If you get the attention of the audience and the audience is able to relate it, boom, you have a successful book.
I completely agree with you. So I think that we have come towards the end of this session. I would just like to introduce Memo Pandits as an institution before we end this particular session. So we are India's first mooting school for law students, founded in 2014 by Anant Gupta and Rachnendra Tripathi. We provide a unique platform that creates content and courses to bridge the learning gap between a classroom and a courtroom. In pursuit of this endeavor, we have a lot of courses that can be referred to by the audience here. And all these courses are curated by professionals from universities such as Harvard, Columbia, NLSIU, law firms including firms like Linkletters, HSF, SAM, CAM, AZV, Khaitan and Co, etc. So our first course is regarding oral argumentation. In this particular course, we teach how to argue a particular argument, as in how to present yourself before the judge, a moot court judge, and in what manner can you actually uh, persuade the judge to believe or to favor or pass a particular judgment in your favor and favor your side of the story. And this is particularly a very very important course because as a mooter myself, I have participated in two national moots, and I know how difficult it gets and how grilled the session, that particular moot room becomes when you're not able to answer the questions. Further, the next the next course, individual course, is on memorial making. So in this particular course, we teach you handmade, tailor-made uh, um, uh, tips and advices wherein you can actually ace the art of memorial making. And because of that, a lot of people who have taken this course have actually won the best memorial citations at national moots, including me. So I know how useful this course is. Further, the next course is something that I would say is something important for all the people, regardless of their profession, regardless of the fact that they are a law student or a law graduate, because all of us write and all of us need to give references, and there's a proper format for those references which are called citations. So all these methods will be taught to you in this particular course. So I think that is that these are the three courses. And apart from this, we also have a newly launched course of research paper writing, as there was a question in today's uh, today's webinar as well, about how to write research papers, or how to be consistent in writing. So I think this particular course is the course for you. I am myself doing this course currently, and I think this is a fabulous course in which the learning process is equivalent to the fun part. You would never feel like you're actually learning, because the headings, the content is, it's so fun that you would not even feel that you're actually doing a study thing. You will actually feel like you're actually having fun, and you will be learning side by side, and all the lessons that are there in this course are immensely useful. And it can be used if you have to write a book, or if you have to write an article, or if you have to write something as short as a blog. So these are our 4 flagship courses for now. At the end of this particular session, I would just request all the participants to fill the feedback form which has been circulated in the chat box. Kindly fill that. And I would once again like to thank Adhiraj Pal sir for taking out some time for today's session. It was a wonderful learning experience, even for me as a student. So thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. The pleasure's all mine. Even I got to indulge in an insightful conversation. I think I would I was able to help some of you, and feel free to reach out if you want any suggestions or any help. I'll be happy to help.
Indeed, sir. Indeed.
So some of the people were asking about your point of contact. So
Yes.
I think that you can contact Adhiraj sir on LinkedIn,
Yeah, perfect.
and that would be the way to go. So I would like to thank all the participants for joining here. Adhiraj sir for joining us.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for being here. It was lovely answering your questions, and it was such a great session. I really had fun. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. I'd just like to end the meeting now.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.